All right. Happy New Year's, everybody. This is episode, what is it? Episode 4.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. This is my beautiful wife, Jasmine. She will be a possibly one and done, possibly recurring guest star. We don't know yet. um, so today we're reviewing Florida Man, which, again, it's backwards, so you can't probably read it, but that's pretty cool art.
That's nice. Got Marlin on
Yeah, of Florida in 1928. It's pretty cool. This is actually genuinely one of my favorite cigars.
there. I've been waiting to try this one for.
Right. Like, I got a 5-pack not too long ago, and they were almost immediately gone. And then I was like, oh, I should have reviewed that. But then I got a sampler pack from Cigar Page that had a pretty sweet tactical stocking in it.
Oh, it was really cool.
Along with this.
You should have brought it to show him.
I should have, but I didn't think
Show
about
him
it.
next time.
But anyway, so it just happened to have a Florida Man in it. And I was like, oh, that's helpful because now I can review it.
And let me try some.
Yeah, and she didn't even get to try the last ones.
Definitely, you told me about them.
Right. So, again, Hammersmith deep V cutter. Hammersmith lighter. Hammersmith, get on your game, man. Send me some free shit. I give them a shout out every time.
Well, they don't know.
Well, they will eventually. Once I get
There you
rich and
have it.
famous, Hammersmith's gonna know my name.
There you have it.
So, I really like the way this one smells. I am getting that dried fruit,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also getting a deeper leather. I'm getting a deeper like oak smoke.
Yeah.
Like not green oak, but the
Like
oak
a woody,
smoke.
like a wood.
Exactly.
Like in the woods.
Right, exactly.
I like
I
that.
really enjoy it.
That's really nice. It's subtle, like you have to be right up on it.
Mhm.
Like that.
Yeah, I enjoy that quite a bit.
It's chilly up here.
Yeah, it is. It is chilly. Oh, one thing I didn't bring up to you, which now that we're on camera, it is what it is. So when we're telling stories, we use first initials.
Okay.
We don't put people's names on the internet, other than us.
Works for me.
But anyway, if they want to be on the internet, they can be on the internet their damn self. It won't be my responsibility. Yeah, so right off the bat, I'm getting cream and I'm getting leather. With a little pepper in the background.
A little pepper. I get that first. It always
Do you?
gets that's like a tingle.
Yeah.
And leather for sure.
But one of the first things I always one of the first things I can taste 90% of the time is that leather. It's nice, right?
It is. It has a much easier draw than I imagined.
Yeah, the draw's nice.
The smell,
Mm-hmm.
the smell on it kind of gives me like that feeling it's gonna be more like moist.
Yeah. It's
But I mean that's just the very beginning of it.
right. So we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, or I kind of jumped the gun a little bit when it came to lighting it. But so we're rating in 3 categories, right? The aroma of the unlit, which I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna say this is one of my favorite that I've had so far. Obviously, my experience is fairly limited at this point, but
Same.
but from what I have tried so far, this is probably the one that smells the best to me.
Okay.
But again, like I said, my experience is limited, so I can't just give it a 10 without experiencing some other stuff 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give it.
On aroma?
Yeah, on aroma, I'm giving it an 8.5.
That's good. That's fair.
Yeah, you agree with that?
I do.
All right. So aroma, the composition, So does it start to unravel or split? How's the draw? Does it keep the cherry fairly well? Is
Hold
the
it.
ash
Okay.
held pretty well? You know what I mean?
Right.
So we won't know that till the end.
Okay.
And then flavor. So aroma, flavor, and composition are the three things that we're basing, and all out of 10.
So a possible 30.
Yeah, but then I give the average, so divided by 3.
That's fair.
They watch me struggle with math every fucking time. Like
So math ain't math.
right, math ain't mathin'. Like it's always at like the end of the day too.
What's that? Like that?
What?
Oh,
What am I looking at?
Never mind. I forgot you were pulling charcoal out of there. Right?
Oh yeah. She was looking at the grill and the charcoal bag poking out of it.
Always messing up my stuff.
Right. But yeah, about every time they're watching me struggle with basic math.
I'm definitely getting a lot more oak there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Florida man.
That's not something that I've really gotten from most of the other
Right.
sticks that we've shared.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
I like that.
we should have brought it out, but we found this it's not really a chart, but like it kind of is a chart. I forget who put it out, but it's like the most common flavor notes people taste, right? And it's got like
broken down into sections.
broken down into sections. Like for the woody flavors, you got your cedar, you got your oak, you got your blah blah. Are you tasting nutty? Are you tasting
sweet notes?
Sweet or
Like
earthy
yeah.
or leather, blah blah blah. And so that was really helpful.
It was definitely.
Because before I was tasting wood and I was like, oh, it's cedar, and it's not always cedar.
Yeah.
But it's on the
That's
other
what's
phone,
on.
and I'm not gonna walk away and leave you guys hanging. I know everybody's riveted right now. I really enjoy this one. The draw is nice and smooth, but there's a little bit of resistance, which is what you want. Because if it's too loose and you're not expecting it to be too loose, and you got a lung full of cigar smoke, and all of a sudden you're dying, that's no fun. But it's also not like trying to puff on a twig, where you're not getting anything.
Right. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't occasionally inhale because, especially if it's one I really like.
Right. That's fair. But the draw is nice and tight, or nice and smooth. Excuse me. It's not unraveling, and
No, yeah, she's
so
holding
far she's holding pretty well.
A little uneven on the burn, but not.
Yeah,
That'll
but
it looks like it'll even
I
out.
think it's gonna even itself out. So that's fun. Oh man. So it's January 1st. It is New Year's Day. 2025. It's gonna be a good year.
It is.
It's gonna be a great
we brought
year.
in the new year with some friends.
Oh yeah.
Our first little get together in our house, and it was awesome. It was really cool. I'm glad we did it.
Me too. We were kind of stressing because when we bought this house, it's definitely a fixer upper.
For sure.
Still.
For
right?
sure, she needs some work.
She needs some love.
But we've got a lot of love. We also have a lot of bodies.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. That's true. All we're waiting for is the money.
Takes some effort and genuine elbow grease and just
Right.
frustration, but it was worth it. And I think everyone was happy to be here. And,
For sure.
We definitely want to get together some more. So
Some of my coworkers and a gaggle of their kids, along with my herd of kids.
yeah, it was a good time.
It was chaos, but it was fun chaos, which was entertaining.
Right. The one thing I could have done without is the fireworks going off 2 houses away.
Yeah, I don't do fireworks.
They're cool when you are expecting them or when it's a show or something.
Right.
They were just going off all night.
Even then, I got a hard time with it.
I get that. But that's, yeah. And the loud noises and the dogs did way better than I was expecting, to be honest.
Same.
So.
I was definitely expecting them
they didn't panic
to stress out some, but they didn't give a shit about those fireworks.
The loud noises at first, the pops, they're it startle us,
right?
But they didn't cry or try to run off or anything, so that's good.
Man, so there's this house, like, what is it, like 4 doors down? That
Not even. You're talking about
where the cops showed up.
All hot.
Yeah. So there was.
It's the corner, and then there's another. The house is literally next door. So like we're
okay.
kitty corner, enough. Right? Kitty corner.
You're right.
And it's the house right next door to that.
So they showed up. Cops.
Apparently, it was surrounded.
Where was it?
That's what the girls were saying.
We obviously only saw the front, but there was like 5 cop cars out front, all lit up in their Christmas lights, Christmas lights flashing,
reflecting off the neighbors' windows.
Right. But there was 4 cop cars out front, and now the kids said that the house was surrounded, which wouldn't surprise me, but those cops were there for like 3 hours.
I'm still getting quite a bit of oak, but I feel like I'm starting to get almost maybe some espresso in the background, like that like kind of.
I can see that
deep full body, less
deep full.
Yeah, less of the peppery tingle, but a little more of a sitting there, kind of coating the tongue.
I get that.
Would you call that like more cream, or because to me it's not? But.
So, in my eyes, if it's sitting and like that coating on your tongue almost, I feel like that's more cream, but it is darker, for lack of a better term.
And it's the position and where it's where on the tongue, where I feel it. That gives me that espresso kind of a feel, but I'm not sure that's it either. There's nothing nutty for me right now.
No, I'm not getting any kind of nutty anything.
I do like that oak smoke though.
I'm not really getting any kind of earthiness necessarily.
Smoke for sure, but it's a nice, like I said,
it's
woods,
oak,
like you're in the woods.
Right, it's oak, and I'm still calling it like a creaminess.
Yeah.
But I could see where you get because it's darker than that. It's deeper than that, but it's still the same feeling.
The full body.
Yeah. So maybe it is like an espresso type. There's like a little bit of bitterness to it, but I get that.
No sweetness. It's
I get that. Yeah, it's not like a dark chocolate.
No.
It's definitely more of a coffee, but it's very subtle. I like it. And so it's a little uneven. I feel like that's gonna even itself out in time, but it's holding the ash fairly well so far, and it's holding the cherry really well. I've had nothing but good experiences with Florida Man so far. This is stick number 6, I guess.
do we know if Florida Man is the brand or just this specific?
So it doesn't have
anything else on
any other identifier on it, and it's just that's FM. So I think Florida Man is the brand.
Okay. Cool.
But it doesn't have any other identifier
What's
on
on
it.
The back of it's just a little compass rose.
So honestly, I think this might be the brand and the only stick.
Cool.
But I really enjoy it.
We'll have to look into that some more too.
Right. I keep meaning to, and I keep forgetting. Excuse me.
Right, like Florida's cool. There's some to offer.
Yeah, we lived in Florida for a minute.
Wouldn't want to live there again.
No.
I thought I did, when I was younger.
Right.
But it's just great place to visit. Lots of cool things to find, beautiful places to visit, but
my son is the only legitimate Florida man because he was born in Florida. So that combined with my last name and gene pool, we'll see.
It's gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
My last name, my gene pool, born in Florida, and the only boy. That'll be fun when he turns teenager. That'll be a good time.
Learn how. Somebody tell us how to teach us how to blow smoke rings.
Right, I actually mentioned that. I think I mentioned that on the first episode.
Start watching other videos now.
Like I've seen a couple of YouTube videos on how to do it, and I could just never get the hang of it.
There's only been 2 things ever that I kind of zoned in on YouTube videos, and you're gonna laugh probably. Makeup tutorials.
All right.
And golf.
Bet.
Golfing was the only other thing I really started.
What's that? I don't remember. Like, it's a fairly major. I don't want to say brand, but like channel. It's a pretty major channel on YouTube that I can't think of the name of right now. But it's like this group of like college dudes who make trick shots. On absolutely anything.
You've shown me a couple
on
of those,
absolutely anything.
Like beer pong.
Kind of, yeah. Like
or
they'll
like basketball.
They'll bounce a ping pong ball off the ceiling fan and 9 different walls before it pops in. Or
they have to be recorded. It's gotta be like hours
of
and
course,
hours and
of
hours
course.
of footage.
Or they'll punt a basketball across a field and make it in, or they'll do frisbee shots, like paper airplane shots, pretty much anything, any trick shot that you could possibly imagine. And then every time it goes in, you know that it's been forever. You know they've been working on it forever because they all lose their fucking mind when it goes in.
Yeah.
I love those.
It's a good time.
I love those. They seem like a great group of dudes. But obviously I don't know any of them personally. And I don't even remember the name of the channel. But if you do, shout out to them because they're fucking cool. I like those guys. Oh, that's out here. Okay.
Yeah, it's been there.
So here is my. It's dirty at the moment, but it's Oh, you know what? It shows through the bottom backwards.
It does. So it'll probably look right. So, yeah, guys.
Boom.
Super cool. I love their logo.
Cigar Page.
He's chill as hell.
Yes, Cigar Page. Little single ashtray. I love this. I like their I like their mascot, the Cigar Page monkey. It's fucking great. Half the time I just ash it onto floorboards, but whatever. I know, but fuck it, whatever. No. This is holding the ash really well so far. And it's, so on the last one, I did, episode 3 was Victor Sinclair, the box press.
Okay.
And, man, for like the first third, probably closer to the first half, the flavor was amazing. Like, it was fucking great.
And it died after that.
But yeah, so it turned real sour, like a mildew taste. And the draw was getting tighter and tighter. It was horrible.
Maybe it was too wet.
I don't know what it was, but I didn't even finish it. I didn't even get all the way to the label. I fucking, I gave up, and I was like, this is gross. But anyway, what brought that up is the ash kept, like, the base of the ash, it would flare out.
Yeah.
It would flare out, and then it was fucking weird.
I don't like when that happens either.
It irritated me.
Because it kind of flies everywhere. Or if you're in the car, it'll fly back up at you or make a mess all over the place. Like if we're dressed nice, trying to go somewhere, like I don't mind, the smell.
Right.
But it does kind of cling to you. One thing I notice, like when I'm around people, I'm not smoking, and then like someone else comes in, like you're at a truck stop, and people just waft in. Right. You're like, ooh.
Truck drivers who are chain smoking in the truck, and then like you're catching a nicotine buzz when they walk in.
Yeah, just walking by. I mean,
right.
But no, I mean it's definitely enjoyable.
I enjoy it.
I do too. And they told us it was going to get cold last night. They did. It wasn't even cold last night. It was beautiful.
Last night was
tonight,
awesome.
I'm sitting here shivering a bit.
Yeah, last night was awesome. It's down to probably, I don't know, low 40s right now.
40s right now.
Low 40s right now. It's chilly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wrapped up in a robe, and so is she. But it's not cold yet. I mean, we're in Georgia. It doesn't get cold, but at least not compared to a lot of the country.
Right.
Or a lot of the world.
A lot, yeah.
But it's.
Man, the coldest place I ever lived. I know you've lived in colder, but it's kind of funny. I tell people all the time. We left California, moved to Arizona, and that was the coldest place I ever lived. And I thought I could handle it.
So we lived up in the Arizona mountains for a couple of years, and it was cold enough to snow on a regular basis. It was cold enough to freeze and break 4 of our goddamn water pumps. So that was great.
We're not doing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a rabbit hole.
We're not going down that.
We're not going down that. We're going to keep it cool.
Look at that.
Right, it's nice. I enjoy it. And it's evening out.
It's evening out.
But
now call me crazy, but my nerd brain says
I call you crazy on a regular basis.
I know. my nerd brain says heat rises, right? So if it's running on one side, I'll hold that side down.
I absolutely do that every single time. I do that every time, and I don't even think it's a conscious move at this point. Like if one is burning a little fast, I'll turn that one to the bottom.
I think I am picking up some of that creaminess now.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
And it sits honestly like in my nose, and
does it?
I like it. I kind of like it. Like, yeah. Like I said, I mean, if I enjoy it, I'll inhale a few times on a stick.
I'm like legitimately, out of my limited experience, which is getting more and more, right? But out of my experience so far, Florida Man is my favorite cigar.
I really liked that. Is it the brand? The brand is Leather Rose.
Oh no, the brand is.
It's a women owned.
Yep. Yeah.
And they've got the Day of the Dead. The painted, the painted faces.
Deadwood.
Deadwood.
Is it Deadwood?
I think it is Deadwood.
I think so too.
But Fat Bottom Betty.
Yeah, Fat Bottom Betty's good.
Leather Rose
was
we first tried. She was a little too sweet for me, but still beautifully made.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. In case you haven't had it, it's a sweetened cigar or like a flavored cigar that's on the sweet side. But it was that shit was good too.
It was.
That shit was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
But that those little nubs, that coffee.
Yeah, the nub nuance.
So good.
Right, I haven't reviewed one of those
I pulled it out
yet.
the wrapper and I'm like, I want to drink this.
Right.
It smelled like a fresh latte.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed one of those yet, but those are good too. That'll be soon. I've still got a couple of those in the humidor.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, those are good. I think it is Deadwood
I think
brand.
it's Deadwood too. I think you're right.
That does the Fat Bottom Betty and the Leather Rose. But that shit's good. But anyway, okay, so sorry, we got sidetracked. So last night, couple doors down, there was like 4 or 5 cop cars that were lit up and just posted out there for like 3 hours or more.
Yeah, it was a long time. They were there for a long time.
I was earlier, I was taking the dogs out and I was talking to my neighbor across the street, and they're a bunch of nosy old people and I love it.
Yeah.
Because they are the neighborhood watch.
Exactly.
They are the neighborhood watch, which is not something I have ever experienced before.
Yeah.
Right? Because everywhere else I've ever lived was mind your fucking business.
You don't know your neighbors. You don't know their name.
You didn't see a fucking thing.
Right.
But anyway,
I can't tell you.
With the exception of Arizona, we loved our neighbors.
Yes, but they were like miles.
Right. Yeah. We had 40 acres, so. Our neighbor.
There's some space.
The word neighbor is relative in that.
Takes
point.
on a new meaning.
Right, but anyway, so I was talking to our neighbors across the street, and he said that they watched pretty much the entire time, and the cops left after like 3 or 4 hours, and nobody left in handcuffs. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how that happens.
To me.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier. Is I think that the family that lives there, I think they know somebody that keeps them out of handcuffs, because that house in this neighborhood is known as the meth house, or the fucking tweakers, and nobody left in handcuffs after the cops were there in uniform with everything lit up for like 3 or 4 hours. Sketchy to me.
None of our business. Keep that shit on your side of the street and away from my kids. We won't have a problem.
Right. After I kept their house from burning down. Shit.
Yeah.
So not too long ago. Oh, you think probably a month ago, maybe a little more.
Hi, Thomas.
What's up, kitty?
What's up, buddy?
I know.
We got Thomas O'Malley coming over to visit. Say hi.
Yeah.
One of the neighborhood strays.
Yeah, come here, bud. Come here, buddy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is Thomas.
I knew that was gonna happen, and
Thomas
I let it happen
O'Malley.
anyway.
Oh, did it ash in your lap?
Did, right?
Ain't that a bitch?
That's okay.
Anyway, that's Thomas O'Malley. O'Malley the alley cat.
Yep.
And if you catch that reference, good for you.
If not, educate yourself.
Right. Google that shit. Anyway. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying.
Sorry. Thomas came over and I distracted
Yeah, we got all distracted. He's an awesome cat, but he picks fights with my cats, so.
Kind of.
I mean, he doesn't.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
We have 2 females, and they're both fixed.
They're both fixed, and he's definitely not. So
which is why
that plays
when
into
you and one of our children were begging to let him come in, I said no.
And that's fair. That was the correct decision.
He can hang out here. We give him food. He's got water around. And he's good. He's happy out here. Indeed. As he's spraying the area. See?
And that's why, yeah, that was a good decision on your part to not let him in. I feel like I was telling a story, and now I don't remember what that story was.
We were talking about the neighbors. I said something along the lines of keep it over there and away from my kids.
Yeah. So probably, what do you think, like a month ago?
Oh yeah. A
month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was probably about two-ish months ago, I think.
Yeah. The weather was warmer anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we're outside and it's
doing some yard
work.
It's
the middle of the day. We're doing some yard work, whatever, and we look at they've started their burn barrel, which you. I don't like the fact that they're burning garbage and giving the whole neighborhood fucking cancer, but everybody does that shit around here, and it pisses me off. But it irks us.
Anywho. Yeah, I looked over and I'm like, I see flames, probably about 6 feet high, right at the base of a giant tree.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of crap around on the ground in that area, and I'm like, honey, I don't think anyone's over there.
Yeah, so I thought it was being observed. You know what I mean? Like you set your burn barrel and then you hang out outside and make sure nothing else happens. But they did not do that.
Mm-mm.
Their burn barrel is in the middle of their yard, at the base of a fucking tree, with flammable.
There was all kinds of junk down there.
Yeah. Yeah, next to a pile of tires and their fiberglass boat.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of flammable chemicals and shit.
Yes.
Just piled up around, willy nilly.
Yeah.
And he lit his burn barrel and went inside his trailer. And I don't know how long he was in. I'm not his fucking keeper, but you look over and his whole shit's on fire. And like I ran over. And like I'm pounding on his door like I'm fucking Popo. Like, you know your shit's on fire, right? And he was like, "Oh, is it on fire?" Blah blah. And so I get his hose.
Poor guy has a busted leg.
Yeah, but had he not, it doesn't.
There was other people there who could have been assisting. Keeping an eye on it, something.
So I'm over there, acting like a goddamn firefighter, trying to keep his fucking house from burning down.
You were in there for probably an hour and a half.
Just trying to keep it from spreading.
Well, and then fire department showed up, and dude was like suiting up, but he was, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate and respect the hell out of firefighters, and my brother's a firefighter.
Seems like he was taking his sweet ass on.
It did. He was just nonchalant, and like other people were showing up and already getting in there and handling business. And, dousing the area and making sure that there was nothing for it to spread, starting to turn things over while you're already red in the face and sweating and got the garden hose.
Singed and shit.
It was
lost
wild.
all my arm hair.
It was wild. And I'm not going to lie, I was standing there like an idiot watching too, because...
That's all right, the rest of the neighborhood was doing the same thing.
And I know you were pissed at us, but I told you it wasn't our business, for one. I love and respect the fact that you wanted to help and not let that get out of hand.
So my issue was not the fact that nobody else is helping fight the fire, right? Because there's only one hose until the firefighters showed up, right? There was only one garden hose, and I've already got it in my hand trying to keep the shit from spreading.
If you go and look right across the street where the majority of us were standing, there's another post right there with a hose that nobody bothered to pull out.
Oh, well, it
wasn't mine, so I didn't do it.
Right.
But had that been mine,
fair enough. Fair enough. But my issue, well, I had a couple of issues at that point. I did.
Don't we always?
Right. Also, hang on, before I get into that, I'm looking at the screen that's pointing at us, and there is not like a 6-inch height difference here. I'm leaning back with my feet kicked up, and my wife is sitting up straight, so that's why she looks about 6 inches taller than me.
Do you feel small, dear?
A little bit.
You're a whole foot taller than me.
But I'm kicked back with my feet up. Anyway, that's not important to the story. That's not important to the story, right? So my issues were twofold at that point. Number one, everybody was in the neighborhood was fucking standing around watching, and he's scrambling with a fucked up foot trying to move his shit away from the fire, right? And nobody was helping him move his shit. Like, he's all fucked up. I'm already over there busy trying not to let the flames spread, and everybody's just watching the fire creep on all of his stuff instead of helping him move it away from the fire, which I thought was fucked up.
That
My
peppery.
oh, I'm sorry.
That peppery taste is back now. It's a little more full. It's a little more on the tip of the tongue now.
You're absolutely right.
It's not, and I want to say almost moving more into like a cedary kind of a taste instead.
I'm getting a lot more leather.
Yeah.
Like the oak is fading.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot more leather.
Okay, maybe that's what it is then. Maybe it's.
But I am getting that. I'm getting a little bit of pepper in the back, but I'm getting a lot more leather than I am cream at this point. Like it's evolving, and it's. I love this cigar. It evolves in such nice ways.
Very smooth.
It is very smooth.
Anyhow, sorry.
No, you're good.
He had a bum foot.
Right, like he still had the boot on with all the pins and shit going in, stabilizing whatever's going on in his fucking leg.
Not trying to pick up the trailer and move it. And,
right, and just everybody's watching him.
Moving tires that were already...
So my second issue with that was, not only was everybody just watching him struggle, the fact that when I yelled, hey, how about somebody fucking help him? Somebody said, hey, how about you watch your mouth? And I'm like, hey, how about you go fuck yourself?
I didn't hear that, but...
Somebody yelled at me to watch my mouth when I'm trying hard not to let this guy have his shit burned down.
Because I was standing over there with the other neighbors. Mm-hmm. It had to have been somebody on their property who said that.
It might have been. And you know what? Like, if it was, fuck them too. I'll let your shit burn to the goddamn ground.
No, you wouldn't. Obviously.
I'll do it twice.
Did these damn kids leave my windows down again?
Probably.
Sorry.
Wouldn't surprise me. And then, at the very end, he was like, hey, man, I appreciate it. And everybody just fucking went back to their own lives. And then I find out later that that's the meth house. I didn't even know that at the time, but that's apparently the tweaker house, which doesn't surprise me even a little bit, seeing the shit that's going on his nonsense.
It's a mess. It's gotten worse since then.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard.
There's like 2 new trailers.
I don't go over there, but
I don't need it. Well, I walk the dogs down the street. Excuse me.
Yeah. It was fucking dumb. It was dumb, but honestly, like, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about him specifically, but that tree that it was about to catch fire, that's a tall ass tree, and it would have fallen over on fucking somebody.
The neighbor's house.
And it would have been a whole thing. That would not have been good. Switching gears, last night was fucking fun.
We had a nice little bonfire.
Yep. I don't do fireworks, so I didn't catch most of the bonfire. I have relatively severe PTSD when it comes to noises. So a couple of my coworkers came over and brought their herd of kids to hang out with my herd of kids. And it was a good time. Drinking, played some Cards Against Humanity. If you haven't played it, you should, because that game's awesome.
True story.
Hey, taco night, we made a massive amount of fucking tacos.
We did.
That shit was great.
Leftovers for days.
Yeah.
And it was good.
It was so good. Carnitas, homemade guac, homemade pico de gallo, homemade refried beans.
Good beverages.
Oh, yeah. Fucking homemade pina coladas. It was a good time. It was a great time.
I do like this.
It's nice, right?
I think it's kind of developing into a little bit of a walnutty taste.
Are you getting some?
For me, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting any nutty flavors, but I'm definitely getting...
Well, walnut is one, for me, it reminds me, like, when you eat a walnut, right? And I used to eat walnuts like candy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the feeling on your tongue, like that. It's almost not creamy. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's almost like the oil, right?
Right.
The oily taste
So
that kind of sits there.
So it's a little bitter, a
Yes.
little oily.
Yes.
Little, yeah. No,
Exactly.
I get you. I get you. I know exactly what you mean. And now that you mention it, I am getting a little bit of that. That's subtle, but it's there. That was a good time. Yeah. So, we definitely have been on a trip in terms of life in general, right? Like we grew up in California. We actually went to high school together. And then we went different directions, right? We were friends back in high school. Never really honestly, I was kind of oblivious when it comes to picking up on signals, as teenage boys generally tend to be.
It's okay. It wouldn't have worked anyway.
Right, yeah, we would have hurt each other pretty bad at that point.
We both had to growing up and figuring out to do.
Exactly. But so after high school we went our separate ways. We both got married. We both had kids. We both had our own shit going on, you know? And then every once in a while, either she would send me a message on Facebook or I would send her a message on Facebook, and just the timing never lined up. But
until it did.
Until it did, exactly. Exactly. So we ended up getting back together. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. I was living.
You were in New York still.
I was. You're right. I was about to move to Pennsylvania.
When we first got back in contact.
Yeah. So I was with somebody else when we started talking again, and then
I wasn't having that shit.
No, and you shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't. But it hadn't evolved anything past the talking stage, right? And then at one point I was like, you know what? Like, I'm tired of the timing not working out. Like, let's make the timing work. So I split from the person I was already with, and we started the long distance thing because she was still out in California. And we did long distance for a while, but that shit sucks. This ash.
Not for the faint of heart.
Right, this ash is still holding really well, and
it's careful till it drops in your lap.
I know, right? It happens every fucking day. And that evened out beautifully. You can't really see it because of that angle and the backlight, but that evened out beautifully.
We're getting close to the to the wrapper though.
Right. So ain't that a bitch? Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
What happened to you not exposing all kinds of personal information?
I'm not giving names and dates and fucking
I'm teasing, honey.
Addresses and shit.
See, well, you ashed it now.
It ashed, but it ashed on the ground
and
in our fucking carport, so I'm not worried about it. But no, this ash is fucking solid. It's nice. Not like that other ash. Nonsense. Yeah, so once we decided to finally make the timing work for us, we did long distance for a while and that shit sucked, but finally moved in with each other. I moved back to California, and from there, once we got married, we kind of bounced all over the fucking country. Yeah, let's see, California, Arizona, Florida, and now Georgia. And then previous to that, I bounced around a lot more. But this is by far my favorite place to live so far. We don't have as much elbow room as we did in Arizona, because we had
lots of space.
We had lots of space. We like I said, we had almost 40 acres in Arizona, but
it's a very different climate and terrain. And
Not a lot of trees.
It came with its definite challenges.
Yes, correct.
We learned a lot.
But Mother Nature made it very clear that she didn't want us there. So we eventually got out.
Let me just tell you, if you're thinking about going off grid,
have enough money to do it all at once.
Go stay with some friends who live off grid first.
Right.
See what it's really like.
Yep.
And be careful, because some people...
I'm getting a lot more walnut now.
Some people try it and don't make it out.
Yep, and we were one of them. Or we made it out.
We made it out.
We made it out, but we didn't make it in that lifestyle.
Legitimately, I think the same year that we decided that winter that destroyed all of our equipment and broke us.
Yeah.
I read probably 2 or 3 stories of families who actually did not survive.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, they were farther.
I remember you saying something about that.
They were farther into the mountains, like up in Colorado and such.
Right.
Which is way more harsh.
So we would
temperature wise.
Right. So we, every time something breaks, you got to replace it, but then you insulate it better, you protect it better, whatever the case may be.
We just couldn't keep up.
We just couldn't keep up because we went through 4. Let's see, that one winter.
It was in a span of about a month to 6 weeks.
Right, but within that one winter, not even counting all the shit that we had done and fucked up in the previous years or whatever.
Yeah.
But just in that one winter, we lost 4 water pumps in the span of like 6 weeks, 2 charge controllers and a power inverter.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that.
Not to mention pets.
Yeah, man, the coyotes are real. That shit sucked.
Yeah.
We lost quite a few animals, and that shit was heartbreaking.
Yeah, just even without the temperatures,
mm-hmm.
the winds.
Oh yeah, that wind will kick your ass.
Wreck your world.
That wind will kick your ass.
I used to have to go do yard work with a gator on and goggles.
Yep.
Still get sandblasted.
And for a long time, we didn't even have running water. We bought a water tank,
mm-hmm.
and we had to either pay somebody to come out and fill it up,
or try to
haul our own water, and we didn't really have a lot of. We were all living in a shed at that point, and so
living on the camp stove.
Yep, exactly.
Or pit fires. That's how we would cook.
Yep.
Man, washing dishes in an ice chest.
I was just thinking that washing dishes in an ice chest
literally
when it's 12 degrees outside. Fuck
water's
that.
frozen.
Fuck that.
Hands are frozen.
That shit was horrible.
Yeah, it was rough. But I mean, it'll change your perspective for sure on how we live.
So we started out
certain things you take for granted.
We started out in like a fucking.
But 12 by 12. 10 by 10?
I would say a 10 by 10.
10 by 10.
We started out in a 10 by 10 shed that was
partially finished inside. Partially insulated inside.
Partially insulated inside. It was decently solid. Like it blocked the wind and everything, so that was nice. But it was me and you. And were the kids staying with grandparents at that point,
mm-hmm.
or were they with us yet?
Mm-hmm. No, it was just me.
It was just us and Carly, just us and my pup, living in this shed while the kids were with grandparents.
We were waiting for other things.
Yeah, exactly.
To come into play, and
then we spent the money and we got a bigger shed, a tough shed.
Let's not go there.
Well, that their customer service is kind of a shit show, but the finished product, once we finally got it, was decent. But that was a 10 by 16 with a loft, so we were fucking big ballers at that point. So it was me and you.
Oh no.
What?
We got a couple of cracks.
Yeah, that's from when I pulled off the
label.
The fucking label. That was my fault.
So the label, I usually try to get to the adhesive in the back and pop that and then peel it off.
I usually do the same thing, but this one, because the adhesive in the back tends to be really legit adhesive. And if I try to peel it like that, it always fucks up. But anyway, so it was the two of us, my youngest daughters, two cats, two dogs, living in this 10 by 16
we made it
shed.
work.
We did.
I can make anything work.
The older of my youngest two daughters, was up in the loft. She had her own little elbow room, but it was a high enough loft that she still smacked her head every time she woke up in the morning, getting out of bed.
Yeah, so did you.
I did,
because those 2x6s were just weird.
Yeah, right at the exact height to fuck me up every day. So that was great.
You had a nice bruise.
Right, exactly. Permanent bruise in my forehead.
I was fine. I could walk around in there, no problem.
And then my one of our neighbors, who's awesome. They're actually the godparents of my son.
Yeah, they got us hooked up.
They got us hooked up. Yeah, with a free single wide trailer. It wasn't in the greatest of shape, but free is my favorite price. But they helped us get it to the property. They helped us get it set up and leveled and everything.
They taught us so much.
They sure did.
They taught us how to get the solar up and running, how to set up our batteries, which we got batteries.
We got batteries for free from another neighbor. Like honestly, we wouldn't have lasted nearly as long as we did without our neighbors. The goddamn train in the background. Fuck that train. That's not. You're right. That was unnecessary.
He's a bit of a cranky pants, y'all. And I love my husband to death. He is a cranky pants, but he genuinely is. He's a big softie.
Here's the thing.
I didn't.
That train will come into town and stop, and so you've got a fucking.
You got to figure out how to get around it.
You got a mile-long freight train just stopped in the middle of town, and you got to go 7 or 8 stoplights out of your way to try to get around this fucking thing.
Better than getting stuck in the clay.
Right, that's true. Yeah, that's a fact. In Arizona, we were obviously, like I said, we had 40 acres, almost 40 acres, and so it was like 15-20 minutes worth of dirt roads to get to where our place was, and when it rained, that shit turned into a fucking slip and slide.
Yeah.
That was no fun. Like enough that I lost a truck because my 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, she
broke.
took a crap. She said, "I'm done." My minivan toughed it out though.
Right.
Boy, let me tell you.
But that my truck with the 4-wheel drive, I had a GMC Canyon, just a small truck, or like a small mid-sized truck, and she was great until she stopped. Like the engine would still fire up just fine, but yeah, she wasn't going nowhere.
She said, "I quit. I'm not doing it."
Something broke inside the differential.
The drivetrain.
Inside, that's what I meant. Inside the drivetrain, and she wasn't going nowhere. That was fucking rough. So it's starting to get uneven again, which is kind of.
Well, I had to kind of puff to get her to not go out.
Right. Yeah.
Because you were sitting there talking and babysitting.
You know what? That's what this channel's all about. Is talking. Talk.
Smoke.
And smoke. I'm getting.
Well, see, now that crack is
cracked.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That was the one I was worried about, not the little one on the other side.
Right, I got you. I didn't even see that one until just now.
Well, it definitely opened up a lot more.
That's frustrating.
Once the burn got to it.
That's the first time that a Florida man has done that, which is annoying.
So I have a question.
What's up?
Or wonder about
question, comment, concern.
The plastic sleeves that they come in. is it best to keep them in that sleeve in the humidor still?
I've heard that
opposing
it
views.
is. I have heard opposing views, but most people seem to think that most people are telling me that the cellophane that they come wrapped in breathes.
Oh.
So it's more for protection against them smacking up into each other.
And okay.
Versus any kind of humidity retention or anything like that.
Okay, fair enough.
So I have heard opposing views, but most people that I've talked to or have read are in favor of leaving them in there. So I figure that's what I'll do. Yeah, I quite enjoy. So I just recently got deeper into smoking cigars. Like over the past few years, I would have, one a month, maybe something like that.
Same. I think
I've kind of dove face first into the pool,
right,
and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think it's because I'm spending a lot more time in the car now.
That makes sense.
Driving longer distances
That
than,
makes sense. Well, yeah, and on longer road trips and stuff. Longer road trips and stuff, we would have a few.
Yep. But yeah, so I'm at the point where I'm having about one a day now. Sometimes two a day if it's a shit day or if they're shorter cigars, but usually about one a day. Anyway, we're like I said, this house that we bought.
Got another change?
Yeah. I can't place it yet though. It's on the nutty side. But it's not walnut. Like it's evolved a little bit. Man, so we got fucking Georgia is known for their pecan trees. Or pecan, depending on how you pronounce it. But so when Helene came through and knocked a bunch of trees and shit over, we got a bunch of branches that came down that we were able to cut up and put to the side for firewood. Dickhead last night used up all my damn firewood on that bonfire.
It was a beautiful fire.
That's what I heard. I didn't get to enjoy it because there's fireworks going off.
It got to be around like just after 11 and it had simmered down. They were still shooting them off.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, if you're going to go out, which I think you should, go hang out with everyone.
Right.
Go do it now because they're going to save up everything. Yeah, they're going to save it all up for midnight at this point.
Yeah. No, and by that time, it was still a nice fire, but you could tell it had died down from what it was. Man, where we grew up, people come over for New Year's and, we ring in the New Year like, Happy New Year, whatever, and then by like 12:15, 12:30, everybody's gone. Which, I mean, yeah, that's cool, because we want to go to bed or whatever, but no, my friends here, it was still...
Everybody hung out.
People
didn't leave.
leave.
Round of drinks.
Right, people didn't leave. It was like 3 a.m. when the last people left.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. It was a good time. It was a great time. Mm-hmm. And I think we should do it again soon.
I'm getting that little bit of... Maybe it's... I kind of want to say cashew, because it does have that little bit of a creaminess.
Yeah, but it's still a little creamy, exactly.
It's not quite sweet, but it's almost there.
Yep, exactly.
And I like that. I'm enjoying... This is probably my favorite part of it so far.
That's what it's a great cigar. I'm annoyed that it cracked, but that was probably operator error, so I'm not going to hold that against it. Because I didn't see that until I took the wrapper off, or until I took the label off. Y'all like my beanie? It's True Religion. My sister-in-law gave me this one, and I fucking like it. I like it a lot.
I think it looks good on you.
Lots of things look good on me. I'm just a good-looking dude. Ugh. But it's chilly out here, man. It's gotten cold. Relatively. It's probably mid to low 30s at this point. The temperature's dropped.
It has dropped.
Temperature's dropped since we've been sitting here. It's probably
mid or high 30s.
Maybe mid to high 30s. But I'm just glad it doesn't snow here with any kind of regularity. I moved to the south to get away from the cold, y'all. Fuck that. I've lived okay, so I've bounced all over the country, like I said, but in terms of like the natural beauty, I would say upstate New York.
It's gorgeous.
Is absolutely gorgeous up there. There's a lot of waterfalls and shit, and it's absolutely gorgeous in terms of pure, raw, natural beauty. I would say upstate New York was my favorite, but in terms of like the climate and
there's a lot of natural beauty.
There's a lot of natural beauty here too. I would say that this is a very close second in terms of natural beauty, but it takes over first place when you factor in the climate, because I like the humidity over the dry, and which it's humid as shit up in New York as well, but man, it gets so fucking cold in the winter. Oh my god, it gets colder. Fuck that.
Yeah, we can visit the snow. We don't need to live.
Right, exactly. And exactly, like said, we can visit the snow.
The most I ever lived in, the deepest, we got hit one storm with like 8 inches, and I know people are laughing at that right now, but I'm telling you, I'm not cut out for it.
Yeah, I don't like the snow. I think snow is beautiful, and if it was possible for it to snow in warm weather, I'd be down. I'd be down. Like if physically it was possible for it to snow and be like 50 degrees, I'd be like, this is cool. I could do this all day long. But I got too much. I got too many fucked up bones and joints and shit to deal with the cold on a regular basis. I moved to get away from that. Yeah, I'm annoyed, but it'll burn. And I'm not. I say I'm annoyed, but I'm not really annoyed.
I've noticed that once the wrapper is cracked, though, they tend to puff up, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really do anything about that, and it's fine. Usually, it'll still draw just fine. So, I mean, it's still
the draw is still great. The draw is still great. It's not leaking or nothing.
No.
I'm telling you, I love this cigar. I do. I like the way that the flavor evolves over the course of the stick. Like, have you noticed that it goes in like thirds?
Yeah.
Like once you hit that next third, it's like, okay, it's starting to evolve a little bit differently.
I'm starting to pick up more pepper.
Are you?
Yeah, more pepper again and less of that nutty. Nutty
Yep.
creamy.
Yeah. Man, living in New York was a trip. That was a good time. Like I was pretty far upstate, right? Like when I tell people, oh yeah, I used to live in New York, they're like, oh, were you in Manhattan? Were you in the Bronx? Like, no, I was nowhere near the city.
Nonsense.
Fuck that city. It's cool to visit.
Another one.
For like 2 hours at a time, and then you're like, there's too many goddamn people here. But no, I was far enough upstate that I didn't have to deal with that nonsense. But so I had this neighbor. Me and him. So the way our apartment was set up, this was before we were married. This was early 2010s. Excuse me. So the way our apartment was set up was it was me. I was on the end of the apartment building, and then my immediate neighbor. We were the only 2 doors that looked out towards the back of the building, right? And then everybody else looked out towards the front. And then we were up on the second floor, and then there was the first floor. The first floor entrances were all like in this hallway, right? So they were all indoor entrances, but me and my neighbor, we were facing out the back, and we were just outdoor entrances. But we shared this little patio area, and man, so he was a spoiled rich kid, but he was fucking cool. Like, he wasn't spoiled in the fact that, oh, I'm better than you. He was just rich and not afraid to show it, right? And so we both, like I said, we both shared this patio, and we would block off So it was both our doors going out into the patio, and then there was a single staircase going down like into the parking lot. So my mouth is dry as a motherfucker.
Okay. I don't
No.
have any water up.
Yeah, I forgot to bring anything up. Excuse me. There's shit floating in it, but whatever. It's from last night.
Yeah, it is. A little extra protein. Did it help?
It helped. Fuck it, whatever. Doesn't taste great, but it is what it is. No, so he had a puppy, and then I had my dog Carly. So we would just block off the entrance, or block off that stairway going down, and we'd just leave both our doors open, and my dog and his dog would just run back and forth between our apartments. And so it was nothing for me to just wander over into his apartment, or him wander over and, what are you doing? What I'm doing this. What are you doing? So one day, I'm sitting there, I'm playing Xbox, and he wanders in, and he's just fucking bored, got shit else to do with his life. So he's like, "Hey man, you want some fucking candy? You want a Sour Patch Kid?" And so I'm sitting there, I'm not really paying attention to him. He's just background noise at this point. So I was like, "Yeah man, he knows I got a sweet tooth." So I'm like, "Yeah man, I'll take one." So I reach over in the bag and I grab one, pop it in my mouth, and I'm like, "Why is this bitter? Like, it's not sour like a Sour Patch Kid should be." I'm like, "Why is this bitter?" He's like, "Oh, that was acid." Like, motherfucker, are you kidding me?
You have been dosed.
What if I had shit to do today? And he was like, "I know your schedule, you're not working today." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I got school too." I mean, I didn't have anything going on that day. It was my...
Well, you were sitting there playing
video. Yeah, I was playing video games. I didn't have anywhere to be that day, but... Fuck, dude, you gotta warn me. I probably still would have said yes, but... Jesus. So I'm just sitting there, like, I'm just anticipating this shit. And I got too much going on in my fucking head to be comfortable just going on unexpected trips like that. But yeah, for like 12 hours, I was tripping my balls off. It was high quality, whatever. I don't know where he got it from, but it was high quality. But Jesus, dude, you gotta fucking warn me. He was all nonchalant about it too. He's a giant stoner, and I expected that because he was always offering me weed and shit. But I expected that. Like, "Hey, you want to try this new strain I got?" Or fucking whatever. Like, he was cool about sharing, but he was a little too cool about fucking sharing without telling people. Like, literally for the next, 12 hours, I sat on my couch and stared at the wall. And so, so you know how, in old movies specifically, right? You'll be watching it, and it's like one of the frames of the movie is missing or fucked up or something like that from the old reels.
Mm-hmm.
And for just that split second, the picture would get fucked up, or the picture would skip or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like that. I'd be watching my wall, and every so often, the frame would skip, and I could see the studs and shit behind the sheetrock. Just for that split second, and then the sheetrock would be back, and it was just a regular wall again. And I am fucking fascinated. I'm just posted on my couch, chilling, staring at the wall, just waiting for it to happen for 12 hours.
It's cold, baby.
It is. It's fucking cold. It's getting colder.
My feet are hurting.
All right. Time to rate it since it's wrapping up.
Okay.
So for
Aroma?
for the Aroma, what did we say? An 8?
You said 8.5.
8.5. And that's a solid 8.5. I love the way this thing smells. I really do. It was nice and sweet, but not like it was sweetened or flavored in any way. It was just dried fruit and leather and a little bit of oak in the background. Yeah, it's nice. I love the way that thing smells. So a solid 8.5 for the smell. For the composition,
she held really nice.
She held a really nice ash, a really nice cherry.
Yeah.
Didn't split when I cut it. It didn't unravel at all.
Nothing.
until I took off the wrapper.
Not bad at all.
No, not at all. So the draw had just the right amount of resistance the whole time. It didn't really change. Every time it burned uneven, it always evened itself out after a couple of minutes. I'm gonna say, and tell me if you disagree, I'm gonna give it an 8 for the composition as well.
I think that's fair.
Yeah?
I do, yes.
Because it's fucking solid, man. I love this cigar.
Yeah. The burn's really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just, evened out every time.
Yep, so that's it. That's an 8.5 for the aroma and an 8 for the composition. And then for the flavor, man, it started strong and it evolved nicely the entire way.
It keeps you interested.
That's what it is. It keeps you interested. Like, it's not overly complex or complicated. It's just a solid fucking tasty stick from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? I'm thinking, because I gave the breakfast taco, I think I gave that a 7.5.
I still haven't tried that
on flavor.
You still have more of those?
I do. I have one more.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I got one more. I think I gave that a 7.5 for the flavor. Maybe a 7. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it.
I'm getting a little more heat in there now.
Are you? A little more pepper?
Like a little more like cayenne, like heat pepper. It's probably just because we're getting close to the end and there is actual more heat getting, you know what I mean,
mm-hmm.
drawn through, but
I'm not getting that, but it is getting warmer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's giving solid smoke the whole time,
mm-hmm.
like a solid cloud every time.
Not too smoky, like
right.
Yeah, like ash smoky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good smoke, like a wood smoke.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, solid 8 for the composition.
I think 8 would be fair for flavor too.
Yeah, I think that a solid 8 would be good. All right, so 8.5 for the smell, 8 for composition, 8 for flavor. So that's 24.5.
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 3. So that's 8 point fucking something. 8 point.
3. No.
Excuse me.
No, it's less than that.
I'm gonna say it's like 8 point. It's like 8.1 something. But because 8.2 rounds up to 24.6, and we're at 24.5. But I'm gonna round it up. I'm gonna say this is a solid 8.2 across the board. 8.2 overall. I like it, dude. It's such a good fucking stick.
Florida man.
Florida man, I dig it.
Get you some.
Get you some. Florida man. I think Florida man is the brand, and the fucking stick. It's the only one I've seen by that brand, and I dig it. 8.2. I like
enjoyable.
It. Enjoyable, very enjoyable. Like it, and it's not pricey. I think I paid. Well, this specific one came in a variety pack that I got.
Oh yeah, that just showed up the other day.
This one came in a variety pack that was on special through Cigar Page, but I think last time I got a 5-pack and I paid $35 or $40 for it.
Nice.
Yeah, which is not bad. Yeah. So it's a very affordable stick.
Yeah, that's decent for sure.
Yeah, this is solid.
Like you get like a $15 to $20 stick and it's trash.
Yeah, that's fucking irritating.
No, but that's not bad.
This is
$7-8
very,
a stick is
$7-8
nice.
a stick. It's a solid,
and
dependable,
for as good as it is,
everyday stick.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting burnt lips.
Yeah.
So.
I usually take it down farther than you do.
I do too. But I'll take it as far as I'm comfortable taking it. But if I'm taking a hit, and it's burning my lips,
it's
or
not
or I'm getting
Don't put the alligator clip on it.
Exactly. Like some people will take like a toothpick or something, and stick it in right there,
Okay.
and then, which is fine. If you're enjoying it that much, that's awesome.
Go for it.
But I've always
I may have to try that.
Yeah, I've always been of the thought process that if it becomes uncomfortable to fucking smoke, it's done. Like you're not enjoying it as much anymore.
Right.
So if I'm getting burnt lips, that's probably a wrap, unless the flavor is just out of this world. Which this is solid, but I'm not trying to burn my lips.
All right, I think that's our time.
Yeah. Florida Man, 8.2, solid, dependable, consistent across every stick I've had so far. Economical. I like it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Round of applause for my beautiful wife for joining us today. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye.